Hello there, fellow humans, and welcome to this video. And today I want to show you my Willy. Well, the Jeep. No. So I'm gonna buy it, and then we're gonna upgrade it, and I'm gonna do a couple of races in it because the Willy is quite nice. But first of all, obviously, we're gonna have to buy it. Now, obviously, the super wheel spin exploit is unfortunately gone, but that doesn't really matter because that's not what the Willy is about. Now, obviously, let's pick a very good camouflage here of all the very talented artists here, and I think that's a bit too weird. So I think let's take the purple Willy, because if your Willy is purple, then it isn't getting enough oxygen. But we're gonna solve that by tuning it. So let's go. Now, obviously, you could do it like a pleb and just auto upgrade it, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna absolutely get out the maximum performance that you can. And obviously, first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep the all-wheel drive train because all-wheel drive is just superior. And also, what we're going to do is we're going to put in the 7.2 liter V8 racing engine, which isn't very balanced. Now, the choice between Supercharger and Twin Turbo is a weird one. Obviously, with the turbo, you have quite a lot of turbo lag. With the Supercharger, you technically lose horsepower because obviously your engine needs to power the Supercharger. But here in this case, they both gain the same power, so I'm just going to assume that this is already applied, so we're going to go with the Supercharger here so we don't have any turbo lag, basically. As you can see in the curve as well, that at the beginning you don't have no power. Okay, fuel system, race fuel, we need that, a lot more power, 38 horsepower more, not too bad, and then we're going to upgrade all of these things, obviously. Now, the most important thing about these kind of cars is always the tires, because more Supercharger, because why not? Always the tires, because obviously most of these old cars, they run on very, very bad tires, so that is very important. Now, what we can do with this thing, we could put on rally springs, but I don't think that's going to be the best of things because it's already very high, and we are going to do some offline, off-road races with it, rather. So, I think still the race springs are going to bring us a lot more benefit because, you know, they're cool. So, we could put on the cage. It adds 42 kilos, so we're going to put on the cage, just to have more stiffy in our Willy, you know, because a stiff Willy is a good Willy. And that is quite important to gain that stiffness in your Willy, because, you know, if your Willy's not stiff, then you're not going to have that much enjoyment with it, because no one wants to have a wobbly Willy at all. Now, obviously, we're going to also go for the off-road differential here. No question about that. Now we get to the important part, and that is the tire compound. Now, obviously, we're going to go with either the rally or the off-road tire compound. I would suggest that we're going to go for the rally tire compound because, obviously, if we do some dirt races, if we do some street races with this thing, the rally tire is a lot better than simply the plain old off-road tire, which is only really good for cross-country races, really. So, obviously, we're also going to make the wheels wider because, obviously, the wider your wheels is, the more grip you have. That should already be obvious. And then we also have to add some accessories to our Willy. Just to make it look even better and to make it more attractive for the ladies as well, obviously. Anyway, now here we go. We tuned our Willy. This is now a very powerful, very big Willy, you know, with 1,300 horsepower. That is a big Willy. Unfortunately, we don't have the 969 kilos anymore, which is sad. However, this is expensive, so now let's see if it paid off. So now we're here on the road with the Willy, and as you can see, the steering wheel is quite massive because you do need a very good grip of the steering wheel to control this absolute monster of a Willy, as you can see, but she's handling this very nicely, so that is very good. So as you can see, it has a lot of power, has a lot of speed, so now let's test that in some races. So now let's get into the race here, and I didn't do much tuning, I simply made it a lot stiffer via the anti-roll bars, and I also gave it more downforce at the rear. But as you can see, this Willy, as stiff as it is very, very mobile. And a question to you, how do you like your Willy? Do you want it very powerful, very, very big engine, or do you prefer it small to cruise around? What kind of Willy do you like? Well, the car, obviously, and here's the second question. Have you had any sexual thoughts yet? Well, it is still not November, so I don't know what you're thinking of. The Willy is a car. I don't know what other ideas you might have, but there is absolutely no way that I could make any sexual innuendos in this video at all. So, let's go. Now, this is obviously a dirt race to start off. Now, a lot of the dirt races in Forza 4 were just asphalt only. And some of them still are. So I picked this one, which is very good for... Oh my... I flipped my Willy! It doesn't stop! Rewind time! So let's try to approach the same corner again, and let's tighten our grip on the Willy, because obviously you don't want to have the Willy getting loose on you. That would not be very helpful. Now, here we go. Through the corner, we're in P2 right now. This is expert driver task, so it's quite easy. Now, the problem this car has, I feel like the center of gravity is a lot higher than it was in Forza 4. Like in Forza 4, it was almost impossible to flip this thing. But now I feel like the center of gravity is a lot higher than it was before. So that makes it a lot more wobbly to drive, which isn't really nice, I guess, because you don't want to have a wobbly Willy. That isn't very good. Okay, now we're going to see if we can try to hunt that guy. Now the brakes on this car, they're not that great. Now, obviously, it's a World War II car, so braking, well, wasn't really an option. And this car isn't designed to have a 1,300 horsepower racing V8 in it. So all those things in it are going to be a lot more stressed than they should be, obviously, because the chassis is not built for this kind of power. There goes my, well, everything, basically. And that is why the roll cage is so important, especially if you flip it, it's very important. But also to make the construction of the Willy a lot stiffer, to help it out like that as well. You can even drift in this thing, because it's weird, I have more rear downforce, but you can just drift it through corners, even with the all-wheel drive. Now, we're going to do it like that, and now we should be able to get in P2. Now, these driver tires are just absolutely insane. You know, like, look at the guy, he's just gone. He's just absolutely gone. Now, obviously on the road, the rally tires aren't going to be very good in terms of grip, but it is wet, so they are going to do well. You know, you don't want to have slicks in the wet, because if you have slicks in the wet, then you don't have any grip. So, there we go, that's a nice race for the Willy. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't did that, then don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, we did a dirt race, so now, let's go fully off-road. So, now let's get into the dirt race here, and it is the circuit well, this is now, I think, Thanos Willy, pretty much, because it is purple, and it's a Willy, so it's Thanos Willy now. So, we'll be driving around Thanos Willy, thanks dog, for now, and let's see if we can win this race. Now, obviously, Thanos Willy is very, well, unstable, because short wheelbase, and a short wheelbase means that you have a lot of wiggling around, which can be pleasurable in certain cars. For example, in a rally car, you want to have it very mobile to be able to traverse very tight corners. But in an off-road car like this, or in Forza Horizon, you want to have a car that is a bit more stiff, because obviously most of the time you're not going to go through very tight spaces. You're going to have a bit more open ones. So you want to control the Willy properly to get the maximum amount of pleasure from your races. Okay, now I can't drive, but that shall not stop me, I guess. Now I'm in fourth. It's not really that great. But this is obviously a 920 car. That does not belong at 920. Go. You basically have to drift into corners. You have so much power and so little brakes that it's almost impossible to stop in time. But let's see if we can make it work. Now, this is a very nice space here. I mean, the entire Forza 5 map is... It's just a bit bigger than Forza 4, but it just feels a lot better because you have a lot more elevation, you have a lot more stuff, which is really cool. Now, obviously, a podium would be nice. Also, the driver tires are insane. Like, this is expert driver tires, and in Forza 4, I would be against unbeatable, and I would have already been leading. But now, I think a good goal would be second again. You know, because it doesn't matter if your Willy is the second best, it just matters that your Willy is above average. And that is all that really matters here. So let's try to achieve that. Okay, now let's see if we can squeeze the Willy down the inside somewhere. But I do doubt it. This car is just so insanely unstable. Now, I don't recommend it for racing at all, as you can see. But it's just a lot of fun, you know. If you want a proper rally car, Then the one I can certainly recommend is the Hoonigan RS200, which is just an absolutely amazing car, and I might make a video about that separately as well. And eventually I might also make a video on the, like, what cars to definitely have, but obviously as of now I don't really have that many yet, so we're gonna have to see. Okay, now lap 3 out of 3, and we're in P3, and that's what we're gonna end. That's not too bad. I actually took that corner a lot better now. See, practice is everything, and you gotta get better. And with that, eventually I will be able to control my Willy properly, and will actually also be able to enjoy these races. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you didn't cringe too much. I don't know. Like, I don't know. What am I supposed to say? It's a Willy. Like, bruh. But anyway. Well, it's a Willy's Jeep, but still. Jeep is not cool. So yeah. That is it for today. Thank you very much for watching.